Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I will go ahead and call to order this special session of the Auburn City Council and our Economic Recovery Workshop to order. If you'd all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Since this is a special session of the City Council, I'll ask the City Clerk to please take the roll.
Council member Alice Dowden Calvillo and Sandy Amaro will be absent today. So Council member Mackey,
Here.
Spokely,
Here.
and Mayor Berlant.
And I am here. Thank you very much. Moving on to public comment. This is the time provided so that a person may speak to the council on an item that is on this agenda. Of course, when we noticed this meeting, the email as well as the telephone number that we are accepting public comments was made available and posted. So I'll turn to the city. Well, first I'll see if there's anybody here on the call that would like to make public comment. And not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk if there's any public comment that was provided.
There is no public comment for today's meeting.
Okay, great. Then let's jump right into it and dive in. First section here of our Economic Recovery Workshop is an update on the health emergency response. Just a couple pieces from me today, not much. As of Friday, since the pandemic started in Placer County, we've had 3,535 positive cases within Placer County. They estimate that 3,221 of those have likely recovered. Some numbers specifically to Auburn and our 95603 area code. Right now we've had 180 positive cases since the beginning of the pandemic. That is up only 3 in the last 2 weeks. So definitely seeing a significant decrease in our positivity cases. In the hospital right now are 27 people within Placer County hospitals. 6 of those are Placer County residents. In the ICU are 12, 2 of which are Placer County residents. So that is some good information as far as a decrease as far as the number of positive cases. Talking to the county today, we did not have a meeting with the new interim health officer. If you saw earlier this week, the county appointed their new Health and Human Services Director as the interim public health officer. And there's nothing major to report, so we did not have a mayor and county meeting. However, in talking to the county today, our numbers continue to decline. And as we have been doing that, we have met the requirements currently of the orange tier over this past week. And so if we continue to stay on this track, we actually will could move to the orange tier as early as October 6th. So by early next week, we should know that we've met the requirements to get moved to that lower tier. And so that would start again at the beginning of October. And trying to pull up right now the state's numbers. I looked at it earlier today, and Placer County was definitely doing very good. In fact, let's see if I can pull it up right now for everybody. So currently in Placer County, our adjusted case rate is 3.4. And just as a reminder, our newly case rate has to be under 3.9 to get into the moderate orange tier. And our positivity rate in Placer County is 3.2. To get into the moderate tier, it has to be under 4.9. So we are well within the moderate tier, and that would allow us to open up a number of additional sectors. Just to name a couple of them real quick, bars with no meals could open up outdoors. Bookstores could go to full capacity. Breweries with no meals could open up outdoors. Let's see, trying to jump forward. Movie theaters could open up to 50% or 200 people, whichever is fewer. Places of worship could open up at 50% or 200 people, whichever is fewer. Restaurants for dine-in could move to 50% as well. So remember, we're at 25% now. that could bump up to 50%. Wedding ceremonies could bump up to 50% as well. Yoga can go inside at 25%. So quite a bit of additional lifting of restrictions should we move to that orange tier. So again, at this point, we're definitely doing very well on the reduction of the spread of the virus. And so the reminder was just to continue to do what we're doing, and that is taking proper precautions, wearing a mask, providing social distancing, practical distancing wherever possible. So that is the update that I have. I'll see if anybody has any questions or if anybody else has anything they'd like to add in that section.
Daniel, is that October 6th date 3 weeks from when we were put into the other category? Is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
So it's, if my understanding is correct, we have to meet the criteria for 2 weeks, and then it's a 3-week on hold period.
So it's
And
5 weeks.
Correct, a total of 5 weeks from the first day that we met that orange or lower tier. And again, we should find out Tuesday or Wednesday that we have met the 2-week requirement. Then we wait until October 8th, or excuse me, October 6th would be the projected date that we would be able to move in. So that is that's just less than 2 weeks now that we would be able to move in. Again, that's as early, but that the county should have confirmation from the state that we've met that requirement by early next week. So exciting news.
Thank you.
I do have to question that, and I do have a call into the health department, but we were given different news in a chamber meeting on Wednesday that that was a different outcome than you're speaking of. And also on the state website, the blueprint data chart, it shows that we've been in orange since 9/6. So
inconsistent is the name of the game for the last several months. So that's where I think, Jackie and I spoke earlier too about the inconsistencies that the chambers got from the county, my information from our board of supervisors via the county as well, and information that was presented at the board meeting also don't all jive. So I think all of it is we just need to kind of stand by, but at this point, it could potentially be as early as the second week of October.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I heard the
Jackie, for having me.
29th. I heard the 29th somewhere. Yeah.
Cheryl, that's what we were told on Wednesday by Mr. Romero. So I have a call into him to try and get some answers because that's what he told us. So
Okay. Thanks, Jackie.
Okay, moving on to city actions and services. I'll turn it over to our city manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, a couple of items. Probably first off, I'll tell you something I've been working on. I've been meeting with the various business associations. But last week we had a meeting with some of the key members of the Economic Development Commission, just trying to sort out where we're at on the various plans. What I've been working on is really a consolidation of various plans. I've been in contact with Maura Rowe, the past economic director for the city. And so there's the 2018 plan, there was the 2019-20 plan, there was a marketing plan that was put together. There's the economic endurance plan that is kind of a format, I think out of 2017, 2018 from the Economic Development Commission. Back in March, the EDC came in with 2 plans. One was what they called the no-cost plan, and then they had a lower cost plan. What I'm doing is I'm actually going in and I'm listing every single one of the items from that. And we've kind of worked with the EDC, with Andy Ruff. At the October meeting for the EDC, they're going to cover a couple of issues, most notably on working on some of the items coming up for the holidays and some of the plans that are going there. But I plan to at least crash an item onto the agenda regarding at least a summary of all the items from the punch list. I really believe what we need to do is get all the key folks, the business associations, the EDC, to come up and kind of vet through everything, put together kind of a short-term list of the things that we want to be working on, and determine maybe from the COVID plan and really start working towards a post-COVID plan. Obviously, getting into the orange tier is a huge deal for us. And I think that if we can start planning on how we're going to get through the holidays and then figuring out what we're going to launch going in to 2021 and emerging from COVID will be important. So my expectation is that the working on the overall revival plan for us will take us into 2021. It'll involve taking things to the city council, ultimately probably a relook at some of the budgeting items that we have on some of the things that we're going to spend on. That'll come straight out of the EDC recommendations, things from working with the business associations. But overall, it's a pretty extensive list. I will tell you the only thing that we have been greenlighting all the way is maintaining Explore Auburn and the social media push on that. It hits a really nice sweet spot for us as far as it's the ability to keep Auburn out there, to keep all the attributes which make us attractive for people to come and visit. It does business marketing, but it doesn't do anything as far as creating quote unquote events, things that could get us in trouble. So I think the sweet spot is just staying with Explore Auburn. It costs us about $1,500 a month to do all that. So it's not a huge expense for us, but it keeps things going. And ultimately, I think what we'll end up doing is just emerging with some type of a plan, which ultimately will say, this is what the city's going to do. This is how we're going to collaborate with all of our partners in the community. These are the types of events, if the governor's going to allow us events in 2021, and then we'll bring it all back. So anyway, lots of work. I can tell you that when all of a sudden you get to like 160 on a Excel spreadsheet, you know you've got a lot of items. So that's where I'm at, and we'll just keep on working on things.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the city manager on city actions? Okay, not seeing any. I'll move to the next section, the Old Town Maple Street billboard. So this was a discussion brought up at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, just related to taking advantage of the increased traffic due to the closure of Highway 50. So Jackie worked some pretty significant magic, used her articulation and communication skills to rearrange the scheduling of the billboard. And so thank you to the city being able to fund it. We were able to place a Auburn is Open billboard up very quickly. So Jackie, anything you want to add on the billboard or the status of it?
No, it is up. It went up on the 21st. It was supposed to be up for the 2 weeks that 50 was closed. But we had a break in the billboard schedule later on this year. So I moved things around, and we're going to leave the open up in Auburn an additional week up. We're going to leave the open in Auburn a week longer so that we just get more bang for the buck and get more people coming into Auburn for our businesses.
Great, thank you,
Yeah,
Jackie.
I
Go
just
ahead,
drove up from Roseville. I got here 5 minutes before the meeting, and it was bumper to bumper. It was packed. Even though Randy says there is a bypass that you can go around the 50 construction, nobody's taking it. They're on 80.
I thought it was supposed to open up today.
It's
Yeah.
packed. I don't know. It's bumper to bumper.
So thank you, Jackie, for heading that up and facilitating getting that placed up. So I appreciate that. Our next item here, then, if there's no other questions there, is the Placer Shares program and the additional grant programs, the dining and the drinking one. I know that's not what it's called, but drinks and eats and drinks. Jackie, any updates from the county or John? I know both of you have been in contact with the county related to the program.
I do. I've heard from 4 businesses so far that received the grant today. So yes, they are letting people know today and early next week. From what I understand, if you applied for it, you have a very, very, very good chance of receiving the money. The nonprofits will be told end of next week, early the following week. And the eats and drinks is still open till the September 30th at midnight. That was clarified yesterday, that the eats and drinks grant process goes through till midnight of September 30th. The meeting I was on this morning, only 1,200 restaurants and bars have applied, and there are far more than that in the county. So if you know of a restaurant or a bar, please have them apply, because it takes only moments, and they're pretty much guaranteed the $1,000.
Just
One
to
more
add
time,
to that,
when does that grant end? Sorry, John. When does the eats and drinks grant close?
September 30th at midnight.
Gotcha. Thank you. John, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's literally there's only one form that you have to fill out. I mean, literally, it's put your name and address, where to send the money, and you have to fill out one form to get the $1,000. And they did announce that I think literally every economic development person immediately jumped on it. I went out door to door. I know other cities have done it. So they've seen a huge spike in it. And I was on a call yesterday with the county manager and the other city managers. And I mean, literally, they've got this whole pot of money that's just sitting there. And if they had to, they may even consider extending it, because the overall participation has been extremely low. But I've asked them to keep me apprised of how many Auburn businesses have done it. And if I can, I'm going to try and get a sneak at the list. And if they haven't done it, I'll literally go and pound their door and say, listen, here's the free $1,000, get this thing in. So stay tuned on it. But it should be a good program.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from anybody on the Placer Shares program or the Eats and Drinks program? Okay. Thank you, guys, and exciting. I look forward to seeing a list of all of our businesses that get it. But it sounds like those that applied, the check may be in the mail. So moving on to our next category here, business personal protective equipment. Jackie or John?
We have some, if anyone needs some. We have just a few masks and hand sanitizers left, but we'd be happy to share. We have been handing it out every week. Amy and I have been going, and I believe Amy actually has someone coming in this afternoon that wasn't able to make it to yesterday's pickup. So she's been really great helping out with the people that can't come during our pickup time and being accessible, since she is in the building, and we do want to get it out to our businesses. So again, if you need it, auburnchamber.net PPE supply or /PPE supply.
Great. Thank you, Jackie. Any questions on the business PPE? Okay, not hearing any. Jackie, the Auburn Chamber of Commerce report.
I feel like I get to talk a lot today. I actually have quite a bit of stuff to talk about. We have quite a few things coming up. We have our city council candidates forum, falling on the heels of State Theater that I heard was amazing last night. Our forum will be on 10/7, and it's a Zoom conference call meeting. Everything's on Facebook. We have a headshot fundraiser for anybody that's wanting to get their headshots updated. It's merely $35, and you get 8 different headshots. Which is fantastic. And thank you to the city for allowing us to use their space to do some outdoor shots. The shares grants we already talked about, eats and drinks till the 30th. I will let April talk about our scarecrows, since she's the forefront of the scarecrows. We did unfortunately make the decision to cancel Festival of Lights. I'm not sure if I talked about that last time we were in here. With the governor's talks and everything that we can't gather together, having tens of thousands of people in the streets of Auburn didn't seem safe during COVID. So unfortunately, we will not be able to do the Festival of Lights this year. But downtown and Old Town are going to light up the town and make it worthwhile and make it look like Festival of Lights for more than one night. On that, Home for the Holidays, we've been working with April and Nina and figuring out how we're going to make Christmas extra special this year. Back to Halloween, Old Town and Downtown are working on trick-or-treating the Friday before Halloween. So they'll be doing from 3 to 5 trick-or-treating out in front of their businesses instead of the kids coming into the businesses. They'll be out in front handing out candy if they are so willing. ARD is doing trick-or-treating on the 17th in Recreation Park, where the chamber will be handing out candy along with many other businesses and organizations. And then the fairgrounds will be doing a trunk or treat on the 31st with the chamber will be there too, handing out candy along with other businesses and organizations. Basically, we're trying to make it as best for the kids and our businesses. Our businesses love doing it, and we just want them more involved, and we want some regularity for our community. So that's what we're working on.
Great, thank you. That was a long list. Any questions for Jackie on activities the chamber's doing? Okay, thank you, Jackie, for that. April, hello. What's going on in downtown?
Well, like Jackie said, we're working on Scarecrows of Auburn, and we have a team putting it together and kind of defining how it's going to be. At least this year, we're going to try and keep it simple and involve. John mentioned the idea of having service groups come in and do a lot of the scarecrows that aren't sponsored by businesses specifically. So we're trying to get a social media presence put together and launch the announcement of it, hopefully October 1st or maybe the 2nd on Friday. And really decorate the town up and get a feel for it. And John promised that it's going to be an over-the-top fall scarecrow display in front of City Hall. So I guess that means all you guys are making scarecrows. I guess that's what that means. I don't know. Again, we're coordinating on that and trying to create the link between Old Town and Downtown, both just in terms of themes and physically, so people will circulate. And I do, I started working on Christmas first, but then we had the idea, Maura gave me the idea for the Scarecrow contest. So kind of have been spending time on that, but hope to kind of keep it moving and keep the energy, and maybe the same volunteers organizing it perhaps to go forward into Home for the Holidays and decorating the town again for the holidays. So we're trying and we're working together. So I think the only comment that occurred to me that came out of the Shares program and the difficulties with communication and all that, I remember talking to Daniel and to Cheryl about email addresses to the business associations, because they're not released by the city of Auburn because it's in a special city-only box on the business application. And it's been for our general membership meeting for Wednesday, the 30th of September, we decided to actually send US mail out on a postcard because it's just impossible to gather email addresses. And so we spent a good chunk of change on a beautiful postcard. And so I just wanted to put that in there because it's just in this area, if you don't have a good email list, you can't just instantly tell people about things like the Shares program and the eats and drinks and all that. So it's just very cumbersome. So I'm going to kind of really pound on that because we need to get the emails when we get the notice that somebody has a business license.
April, why don't we,
April.
I know we discussed this as well prior to John's start, but let's, after this meeting, the three of us can find a time to connect and bring in Nina as well and figure out what we can do to maybe better coordinate the communication of information that we collect and see how we can figure out changing our procedures or even how we collect it so that business owners know that the business associations will receive the email so that the city, as well as the business associations and more importantly, the business improvement districts can communicate with their members. Because I think it sounds like a little bureaucracy. And if we talk with John, we can kind of fix that. So yeah, Cheryl, did you have something to add to that as well?
Yeah, I think we could just put on the business license renewal, a request for their email address to go to the Downtown Business Association. Check this box if you wanted to go there. Check this box no if you don't want it to go there. Just, pretty simple that we would just ask for that for the DBA and then send it on over to the DBA.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to quickly say I have a suggestion for the scarecrows in front of City Hall. I think every city council member should make a scarecrow that looks like them for the front of City Hall. And then yours, Daniel, would have a big gavel.
I haven't used a gavel since my term started here.
I know, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do that before your term's up.
We'll see.
Can I help with mats?
What?
Can I help with mats? I have an idea.
It's gonna be an
Okay,
easy one.
Matt.
It's gonna be an easy one.
Well, Cheryl, we'll just need to pass that on to the other two because it sounds like a competition here amongst us.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. What do you think, John?
I think that is a great idea. And actually, for the mayor, I think we need to have him wearing all blue and have a big giant board behind him with all these little dots of fires all over the place. And I think that is a great idea.
I like
And
the idea too. If you really want to make it fun though, let us draw each other's names to do each other's scarecrow.
that is a great idea. Matter of fact, we will.
No, I'm not going for that.
And I just want to say, a lot of people seem to be really intimidated by making a scarecrow, but there's so many helpful things online. Just say how to make a scarecrow and you'll get millions of ideas and ideas for frames and all that. So it's really simple. Let's all go for it.
You know what, April, I think one of the challenges is a lot of people can't find gunny sacks to help do that. And I know a source of literally an infinite supply of the right sacks to do it. So if we need to help people do that, we can. I know a place where I bet I could get about 10,000 of them here in about an hour if I had to. So let's collaborate on it. Help, because the quality of this thing, we can have a lot of fun, and let's make it really successful.
Yeah, let's do that.
I bet Echo Valley could supply some empty feed bags. That would work really well.
Well, and a lot of the do-it-yourself ones they're covered with clothes anyway. So they use plastic bags and stuff and full of stuff and then just put clothes on it. So it just depends what you want to do, but let's do it.
Very good. Well, the competition is on. Cheryl has challenged us. And so April, thank you for those tips. And I think it'll be good to dress up the town a bit. So
Where do I draw my council member's name?
We're going to do a random draw, and we'll let everybody know.
No, I don't want to do anybody else.
okay, April, anything else?
Well, like I said, we have our general membership meeting by Zoom on Wednesday at 5:30, and we're gonna get everybody informed about what's going on and hopefully have a fabulous last quarter.
Great, thank you, April. I know Old Town is not here. I will tell you earlier this week, I did join their general meeting for the Business Association and some good discussion. Nothing really major to report. They're still just kind of getting the new board up to speed on what they're all doing. Jackie was there as well. So it was really nice, Jackie, to see the chamber active there. It was the first time at least the Old Town Business Association that I've seen the chamber represented at one of those meetings. So nice job on coordinating that. So with that, I'll just quickly open it up and see if anybody has any roundtable items that we haven't discussed that you'd like to bring up. So two things here. I'm going to TBA the next meeting just based on other activities. And once we kind of get our arms wrapped around the county's discussions with the state as far as when we'll move to the orange tier. We might need to move the meeting a few days before that so we can have that discussion and prepare our businesses ahead of that as well. So no meeting yet, but I will confirm when we do that. And then lastly, I'll just want to end with one item and just make sure you're all aware that our area is under a red flag warning for critical fire weather for the next several days. PG&E is discussing doing some public safety power shutoffs. I have not seen Auburn specifically on the list that at least I had saw at last posting, but just be prepared and be aware. And please, as I say in my other life, have a fire safe weekend, everybody, and we will talk with you later. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Daniel.
Daniel. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.